Good morning and welcome. It's Friday, the end of the week, and boy, have I had a week. I want to first welcome you all for giving me the opportunity to talk to you about CPS. I'm your host, Bob Pace, and here we are to fight CPS, hang on to your children, or get back your children. I know most of you experience really rough times, and myself entirely too. I'm a loving father. I have six children and I've been married for 32 years. And unfortunately, myself, when I lost my job in 2010, through no fault of my own, they just suspended the contracts I had with the state of California for temporary, and I couldn't get a credit line, I couldn't afford financing $53 million worth of work that was awarded to me for doing construction projects in California. Anyway, when I lost my job, things really did a downhill spiral. Right away, my in laws, who I did not know at the time, were calling in from 2010 to 2015 complaining that we weren't taking care of our children. They never liked us. I did not know that lay people could get away with what they're doing, but they would tell us the kids aren't in school, they didn't have clothing, didn't have food. And I'd meet with the social workers for 5 years, show them my house. There's nothing they could see wrong with it. They saw the kids' scores, the grades. They had clothing, they were clean, and they were at school. Well, I was tricked in 2015 by a detective that was hired out by the evil rogue child protection system. And if you don't think they're evil, all you have to do is think about a mental picture. There's these 8 ladies in Prescott, Arizona in 2022 decided to tell you how they feel about families. And on the front of their t-shirts said stenciled, "We are professional kidnappers." And on the back, they put, "Do you know where your children are at?" And they paraded around in businesses and showed it off. And of course, they were caught. They were suspended. The director was suspended. But the damage they did, or the impression people got, it was terrible. It was terrible. So I was told that I had to come to my home in 2015 by a detective. I did not know that your castle, and that's my rule number 3, that no one is allowed in your home unless they have a warrant or there's uh, some type of violence that's taken place that would endanger the kids. Well, there's no violence taking place in my home. My kids were in school. They're in good schools in the STEM program. They're all, engineering and math and technology and, science. They were taking those kinds of classes. So they weren't in danger. They were healthy, normal. They're upstairs. So they marched in, and what was awaiting for me was a ridiculous parade of people. There was 5 firemen, 2 code enforcement, 3 social workers, 2 uniformed policemen, and the detective. Now, why they need all those people to investigate a ledge? And the problem is, anytime the enemy calls a layperson, especially that calls, they're either professionals or lay people. They believe it's true, and you're guilty before you have a chance to prove you're innocent. And right away, 99% of the time, they're taking kids into custody, trafficking your children, alienating your children, which is against the law. They stole my 3 kids. There was no reason, there's no justification. And then my rule number 1, I didn't get an attorney until a year later when I got my kids back. And that was several mistakes, Rule 3, don't let them in your home, don't talk to social workers. And rule 1, get an attorney, because and I'm not talking about a court-appointed attorney. And you probably wonder what rule 2 is. That's to do the paperwork. Well, I'm supposed to have a co-host here. Danielle, unfortunately, has lost her computer. So I don't know if she'll be on. I'm going to see if I can contact her and see if she's Okay, there is some word from her. I guess she's okay. All right. Oh boy. Okay, my other um, co-host is Faye in Richmond, Kentucky, Danielle in Georgia, and I'm in California. I'm in the Southern California. And I really care about you people. I really care about what's happened to you. But with me, it was terrible. There's no reason. I was 65 years old when they came into my home and stole my children. I don't want, they did more than kidnapping. They right away put them into a shelter, a foster shelter, which is in Orange County, is next to the juvenile prison. And so you have your play yard next to the juvenile prison's play yard. Was that protecting your children from what the juveniles could tell those kids? Also, there was beehives and they were stinging the kids. What kind of protection is CPS doing? I mean, you look at those social workers from Prescott that parade around in pink t-shirts. Yes, they're gone. 25 years of social work gone. 8 social workers gone. The whole department's empty. If you're looking for work, they're looking for social workers. But CPS is supposed to protect the kids from negligence and abuse. Negligence and abuse, and also family reunification. The best parents are the biological parents of children. It's proven studies after studies after studies that those are the best parents. If the parents have hiccups, they can be corrected. They can take parenting classes. They can take programs like anger management, drug rehab. They're supposed to help. CPS doesn't help. Why? The only reason why it's an $80 billion business. 80 BILLON. They want to make money. They charge in Orange County $20,000 per child per month. In LA County, they charge $15,000 per child per month. And that's not charged. That's what the state pays them. The state gets the money from the federal government, and the federal government throws money out there. They don't care. The federal government all the time is out of money. It's your taxpayers that are paying it, and they don't manage the money. There's no transparency. There's no accountability. In Richmond, Kentucky, I know from Faye that right now there's $800,000 unaccounted for, and a lot of people are being investigated. It is a problem. It's also a problem worldwide. I've had countries sending comments here from all over the world, and tell me how bad it is in other countries. I think what's happened is they found a niche how they can rip people off. There's social workers the other day were just charged. I mean, there's one social worker that put an ad up, and that was disgusting. Put an ad of 1848 at the time we had slavery, just before the Civil War, and it said, "Black children for sale." Now that's wrong. And they're doing it to the American Indians. That's why they passed ICWA, the Indian Child Welfare Act. They do the same thing with Indian children. They don't care about family reunification. I don't know how they do it. These social workers run rampant. Now, I challenge anybody listening in, then especially if you're a social worker, please call. I had a social worker from Maryland named Carol who talked to us for 40 minutes, but she presented a different thing. So anyway, I appreciate you all here. I'm here to help you. I care about you. I want you to see you get better. I'm a professional. I've been struggling. And like today, yesterday my car was stolen and then I got it back and then I locked the keys in the car. And that's why I'm a little bit late. My show times or 7 times a week, twice a day. I'm on at 10 o'clock in the morning and on at 7 o'clock at night. That's for 1 hour each at Pacific Standard Time. The only time I'm on earlier is on Sunday. I'm on at 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm on 8 o'clock in the morning. So, I really want to help you with your CPS case. I think the things that I experience or the things my cohorts, Danielle or Faye, can help you. We've had some good topics the last couple of days from Faye, and it's really been good. It's been really, really, really good. So I need to go over the what you can do with this podcast. If you want to make a comment, see, I'm broadcast on YouTube and I'm using a StreamYard application. They have a comment section. All you do is fill out the comment about your CPS question. And it could be anything. It could be your friend is in CPS, but this podcast is devoted to the child protection services and how to help you get your kids back or hang on to your kids. All I ask is you please show your name, city, state, or country and be complete with your CPS case. And I can try to help you out. You can also, people in the room will see that and they can help you out too. Now, you're probably wondering why I have the word country. Only because countries are in the same problem and let them in. And there not been that many. So I like to have, the world know that the CPS isn't only in the United States. And so far, the countries have been Australia, Canada, United Kingdom, Ghana in South America, which is north of Brazil on the coast there, I guess south of Venezuela. And then there's Mexico in Central America. And then we have Mozambique from the east coast of Africa, across from the island of Madagascar, down from Somalia and above South Africa. And then we have in Europe, Denmark, besides the United Kingdom, we have Denmark. It's called it. And latest has been Liberia on the west coast of Africa. Liberia has called in. The guy calling in says he's a scout leader. I guess scouting is real popular in the city in the country of Liberia. There is all kinds of problems worldwide. And I can't fix them all. I love to. I can offer suggestions, but we need Congress to change the CPS and how it works, how it functions. We need accountability. We shouldn't just arbitrarily send money. The government's so bad that they pay $1,000 when the military submits an invoice for a toilet seat. A toilet seat, $1,000. And then you got the cult in Salt Lake City, Utah, that gets millions of dollars every year to find alternative source of fuel. And to date, over 10 years, they've not produced one drop, but they get their million. So, the government's always running out of money. That's why there's no accountability with the money. That's why they run out of money. And it's our money. We worked hard. We paid taxes for services, and we're not getting service received. In fact, the service we're supposed to get are being taxed out by the open integration of the borders. You're better off renouncing your citizenship of the United States and go to another country and then come back and get asylum, and you'll get yourself a job, you'll get money, you'll get food, you get medical, your kids will be in school, and you're better off than you're a United States citizen who's worked hard all his life, and maybe you have encountered problems. I mean, when I lost my job, it was hard to hang on to my lifestyle. I had a very elevated lifestyle. But in 2017, I lost my home. I had to sell my home because I needed to get an attorney. And the attorney I used, Vincent W. Davis, got my boys back. So he's a fighter. He's a fighter. He's a fighter, that's for sure. Anyway, Besides comments, you can also call in. I'd love to have callers call me in. All you do is call my office phone, 626-698-0990. It's only able to call in during my show times. On my show times. I have calls all day long on it, but I can't answer it. I'm supposed to use the phone only to the hours of my show, my podcast. So call in right now, 626-698-0990, and you can be a guest on the show. I'll turn on the speaker, and we'd love to have you talk about your CPS case or answer a question or anything. So please call in. I'd love to hear from you, 626-698-0990. And then another way to integrate with this podcast is you can schedule to be a guest on our show. All you have to do is contact our show producer. Her name is Grace. She works fine behind the scenes. She's a hard worker, but she'll help you with the links to get on the show and tell you what you need to do and so forth. Because being on the show, when you call in on the phone, there'll be no camera. But when you be on the show, you can be with a camera. If you want to put a picture instead of not you, or a picture looks like you, that's fine too. But anyway, please email Grace at vincentwdavis.com. That's Grace at vincentwdavis.com. And tell her you want to be on my Wednesday morning show, my Thursday evening show, my Saturday morning show. You just tell her those. There's 14 shows to pick from, and so hopefully you'll find one of the days. And again, I'd love to have you. Recently, I had some wonderful guests on the show. I've also had some interesting call-ins from various people, so that is good there. So email Grace at vincentwdavis.com. Now I'm going to put my phone number back up. The other number you see on the screen is how to contact Vincent W. Davis at Vincent W. Davis and Associates, his law firm. They're in Southern California. It's 888-888-6582. And I'll talk more about a lawyer and about Vincent Davis. But I want to thank him for making the show possible. He's a hard worker. He loves children, and he has his own podcast, and he gladly try to help you if he can any way he can. He gets a lot of his time for free, and we appreciate that. Now, I was talking early on about how, I was involved in CPS. And it was a horrible thing. I know this firsthand. And the mistakes I was making, besides letting them in my home, was talking to them. That's the worst thing you do, is talk to them, because everything you say they use against you. You try to be honest with them, they'll sit there and turn against you. They're not your friend. And I hate to say it, they're the worst agency in America or in the world. They're the worst agency, and they're supposed to be the best. They're part of social services that's supposed to help you when families are in need. They're supposed to help you with food and medical. And also job searching and getting a job and those kinds of things. But my case just got miserable, more complicated. The more I talked, so I did stupid things. I broke my rule number 3. I broke my rule number 1, which, 1 is to get an attorney. 3 is to not let them in your home or not talk to them, and not give up your child, because 3 has 2 parts. They have the part where they come in your home and take your child, and then they have medical trafficking, where you go to the hospital and they take your kids. So and they take it and violate your constitutional rights and your civil rights. You have 2 rights in this world: your constitutional rights by the U.S. Constitution. And one of them is supposed to be a court-appointed attorney can be given to you, but I'm sad to say, in dependency court, which you're in, family dependency court, it's bad news. It's bad news. Family dependency court. And it's just, I'm lucky I'm alive today. I'm thankful to God that every day that I'm alive, but it's such a struggle. I don't know if you ever follow Snoopy in the gang, but one of the characters has a cloud over his head where it's always raining. He always has bad luck. And I can't remember the Peanuts character in that, but he has bad luck. And that's my case. I've had nothing but bad luck. Ever since I lost my job and fighting with CPS, I've had bad luck. And I do try to fight with CPS, but I also recognize I don't like to downplay them because it is a valuable agency to have. There's no question about that. So my heart reaches out to you. I've been homeless. I've lived out of a car. In fact, I live in the wrong kind of car. Never live in an RX-7. You're never horizontal in an RX-7. It's a sports car. I had my little hatchback, and I had my belongings, and I had my food, and I was trying to, use the Wi-Fi at Starbucks and McDonald's, but now they no longer have Wi-Fi at McDonald's or Starbucks. They no longer want people, working out of their place. I bought food, but I guess they don't want the business now. They're charging so much for food, and it's amazing. The starting pay at McDonald's is $20 an hour. $20 an hour at McDonald's. I'm not saying it's a bad job. A lot of people work it. But, of course, you're paying an arm and a leg for a burger. Jeez, I can't believe how much burgers are. $9-10 for a burger. $15 for a combination meal for fries, a drink, and a burger. Oh, it's just as bad at all the food places and the grocery stores. I know it's a struggle. It is so bad at the stores. You're spending $7 for a gallon of orange juice, $6 for a gallon of milk, $1 a pound for bananas. I mean, I just was looking at the prices. Frozen orange juice is $4 a can. I don't know how people are able to pay for that. The bread. I mean, I have to go to the section where they put out old food. And there, it's still $2 or $3 for a loaf of bread. I mean, you got to spend $5 for bread now. $10 for a tub of potato salad. I mean, it's climbed up so bad that you can't get very, very much at all. It's hard out there. Well, I want to welcome Rosemary Lambardo. You've been on many times. I start unsupervised visits next week. Yay! All right, you can still see your children. There's a success story. Tell me, is there something I said that may have helped you, or how are you able to get unsupervised visits, Rosemary? And I also forgot what city and state you're from. Oh. Okay. As long as that goes well, they said they're looking to do a trial discharge soon. Oh, fantastic, Rosemary. Fantastic. Thank you for the answers, Rosemary. She said what helped was get an attorney, which I've always recommend you guys do. And I'm talking about not a court-appointed attorney, a real professional attorney. And you left the domestic violence, you left whatever your domestic violence was, and you're doing the case plan. You're following the case plan. I clap, Rosemary. Again, I don't know where you're at, but that's so good. I like to know, can put a pin on that city and state, so I know that's a good place. It's really, 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 really hard. So anyway, thank you, Rosemary, for sharing that. So I can talk about my 3 rules or about my case, or I could talk about some of the other topics that we have here. I like some input from you guys. I have some people in this room, some regulars, and some people still drifted in. I know we started late today, and that was strictly my fault. When my car got token yesterday, and then today I had to get it out. It cost me over $600 to get my car out. $600. Oh, I don't have that. I mean, I make very little money a week, and all that money goes to food, which is not enough for food. We still try to go to churches, and there are many nights that my son and my wife, my two boys, my two sons and my wife, go to bed with no food. I mean, we're down to just turkey hot dogs for lunch and maybe some discounted bread, cereal and milk for breakfast, and then occasionally I'll get chicken. Like they had sale for chicken. You buy one package, the other package is free. So it's like $4 a package of 12 chicken. I can turn that to, I can change that into 2 meals. Hallelujah. I'm so happy to hear that she's going to be getting unsupervised visits with her baby. Yay, yes. Hi, Bastilia. That's Christina. And I'm glad you're in this room talking about it. Oh, hi, Faye. Thank goodness you're there. I do miss you every time. There's so many good things you do, and I'm surprised I'm here. I was dedicated to help you guys. I could have thrown my hands up in the air when my car got stolen yesterday, and I didn't have any money to get it bailed out of jail for $600. And then on top of that, I went to the gas station to get a little bit of gas. And the only good thing I saw in this world was the gas has dropped. It's now to $3.09 a gallon. $3. It went from 4.25 to $3.09. It's been slow. It goes up fast, but it goes down slow. But I'm finally at $3.09. And I have no reason why it went up there. But that was a blessing today to see that. But in my trying to get home faster, stupid me, I left the keys on the dashboard, locked the car. It's an automatic thing. I have a problem with my phone and keys. I always seem to misplace them. And it isn't because I purposely do it, but it's anyway. So I do have some food. I got some rice from the church. It's not the best kind of rice. You have to wash it. I didn't know you're supposed to wash rice because there's bugs in it. And Faye told me you need to rinse the rice. It looked like bugs. I know it's cooked, but the little black specks in there. So the rice I got from the church, I don't know if it sat for a while, but I got that. So I have rice with a chicken, and I put barbecue sauce on it. I cook it and then put the barbecue sauce on it. And then I cut up tomatoes, celery, carrots, and onions to make a salad. And I cut up some pineapple for the thing there. It was so nice to have the pineapple. But it's a blessing. I'm able to feed my family tonight. I have the other half of the chicken, last night and tonight, and then I got some pizza for tomorrow. It's like a one-a-day affair, so. I'm sorry, Rosemary. I'm glad you don't give up. I cry. I know the feeling, Rosemary. God bless you and so like that. Link that you sent me, people can click it, but I can't click it, Faye. It has to go in my private comments or on my phone. I can't go to that link. It's called Facebook Show something there. Yes, I'm glad you all have God in your hearts. I know religion is a complicated thing. I'm just a Christian. I believe in God and Jesus Christ. I respect all religions. My wife of 32 years is a very hard, fast Catholic. She is a prayer warrior and she's praying all the time. But she and I are like night and day when it comes to religion because there's a lot of things that she believes in I don't believe in. But praying is good. Praying is good. Thank you, Faye. Yeah, I'm sorry. For some strange reason, when I highlight it, all it does, it goes on the show screen if I highlight it. And I can't copy it. And unless you're on the show as a host, you can't give me private chat, or not as a host, but as um, wow, glorification. I don't see glorification of social workers. I mean, Faye, of all the people in this room and all the people I've spoken to, which has been over 500 people in all the different states, Faye has gone through more hard times than anybody else I know. I mean, including myself, because I'm still struggling. It is so sad. I'm taken advantage by people that hire me to do things and they don't pay me timely. They don't even pay me what I'm worth. And it's hard. It's hard when you don't have money to pay your bills. I live in a very expensive place. I'd like to move, but I don't know where I can move to. Right now, it's terrible. I'm in a lot of pickles here. I got to stay where I'm at and get that job rolling. I have to get a real job. Yeah, I know Faye full time is. She has a dog. Her neighborhood was in a ruckus last night. They had 4 people killed and a dog. I mean, what kind of environment is that to live? I mean, I don't know Richmond, Kentucky, and I don't, shooting happens in me too. I live in a very wealthy neighborhood. I mean, I live a couple blocks from the beach. Yes, I'm lucky to live at the beach, but you pay a high premium for it. A high premium. I mean, when I had my home here at the beach, it was nice, but I had a job that could afford a home here. But when I lost my job, I I struggled to try to keep the home till finally had to sell it. I was able to pay for the home for 7 years. I had my savings saved up, but I had to sell the home because I had to get some money to get my kids back. And I'm so grateful to Vincent for helping me get my 2 boys back. We lost our daughter. That's another thing about tragedy. Everybody has tragedies. I have a 21-year-old daughter of my 6 kids. She was 12 years old the last time I saw her. I saw her May 2nd, 2015. And I remember giving her a hug. And then when they rounded up my kids at school and insisted them they had to be in CPS's protection so they get their gobs of money, they alienated my daughter. At first my wife was able to see my daughter, then it was with a supervision, and then they stopped her seeing my daughter. That's how CPS works. Never once wanted to see me, and I don't know why, because my daughter 2 years before that or a year before, we went to see my parents and get their belongings. And that's what got me into trouble. My mom and dad were great parents for me. They're with me all my life. He was a fine naval officer in the Navy. He had 35 years of service. They had a 55-year marriage, and they're beautiful people. And I really miss my parents, as we all do. And they said, "Son, can you help us? We want to sell our home, and have our belongings go to family and friends." And I said, "Well, gee, Dad, I'm struggling right now, but I will take your belongings." I had no money for storage, and that's what got me in trouble. I never thought by taking my parents' belongings would get me in trouble. But I put them in the home, and I put them stacked up, and they were orderly. But it was a clutter. It was like hoarding, and it wasn't hoarding. It wouldn't affect the kids upstairs. Their bedrooms were clean and spotless, and they could sleep comfortably and safe. But they're downstairs, and the social workers walked around and said, "Oh, look at this. You're negligent." I said, "How am I negligent?" "Well, you got all this furniture and stuff." I said, "My parents are dying. I'm trying to consolidate. I don't have money to pay for storage." "Well, that's your problem," was the attitude of social workers. Social workers have the negative attitude. They will make you feel so bad. They think they're power hungry because they can use the police and they can do anything they want because no one's going to stop them. Because why? There's no board of directors. There's no supervisors. I talk to the director of CPS in Orange County. I went to his Taj Mahal of his building. It looked like the Taj Mahal. It was so rich. And then it further looked like it was the green emerald city of the Wizard of Oz. That's how luxury went. And then when I met the guy, he had so much gold around his neck. I said, do you need crutches? You're going to fall over. I wanted to tell him that, but I was respectful. But I thought he needed crutches so he doesn't fall over. And everything I said to him went one ear, went out the other ear, and all the cronies he sent me to was the same thing. It's a waste of time to fight CPS yourself. It's a waste of time to try to do it in court. Try to be, it's called what's it called? It's a Latin word when you want to be your own attorney. Help me out, Faye. Help me out. What is it? Trying to think of it is. But anyway, they'll eat you up in court. First of all, the judge is voted in by you as the people, but he's the wrong kind of judge. My judge knew all about damage claims and car accidents, things like that. He knew nothing about child negligence or abuse or family reunification. And when you were represented by a court-appointed attorney, you can't say anything in court. You're not even in court. And you don't know what that attorney's doing for you. That attorney has a caseload of 30 or more clients. They don't have time for you. They'll spit you out. They won't fight for you, even if it's wrong. And when my daughter, our social worker told us, and okay. Welcome, Faye.
Hey.
Yeah, it's pro se. So.
Yeah, the word you were looking for was pro se.
Yeah, thank you. I just saw it. I'm trying to keep my composure. It's very, very hard. I know all of you have similar problems or similar issues. Finances is a big problem with everybody. And I was sitting there rampaging about that. The only thing I found was gas dropped. It went from $4.25 to $3.09. So, and still there's places like the major gas stations still charging $5 and $6 a gallon. So I have no idea why gas is up where it's at. So what's the latest, Faye? What else you like to talk about? I got to check with my Grace how much time I got. There's another show, I think, at 11:30. Did I lose you, Faye? Oh, my goodness gracious. Now my phone is not working here. Okay, I'm trying to get Faye. I don't know. It's calling, but it hasn't gone through yet. God. Okay, and I'm trying to call you also. I got to reboot my phone. I've already rebooted my phone once here. Hold on, Faye. I need a new phone. That's the hardest thing to do right now, but I can't afford to pay the taxes on a new phone. It'd be like $100. So I'm rebooting my phone, Faye, so it'll come through there. So anyway, I've talked about the rules. I don't think I've talked about rule number 2. I need to go in depth in rule number 1 and 3, but 2 is the paperwork. And that's so important. I procrastinated. I didn't do the paperwork. And 9 months later, I didn't remember anything. It's hard to remember everything. But you should get yourself a notebook, a 3-ring notebook, and it should be at least 6 inches thick. And you want to stuff it full of college rule notebook paper because you're going to take some notes and stuff. I know we have computers and we can write on and stuff like that, but still the old-fashioned way of sometimes writing notes or comments and things is still the best way to do it. I sometimes find myself where everything in my mind is clouded and so what I do is I get a yellow pad of paper out and I write down everything that's on my mind on a piece of paper. Then I prioritize it, either primary, secondary, or tertiary, meaning that it either has to be done today, this week, or this month. And so that's what I do. Write down those topics and arrange it according, and then tackle them, because that's the way you are. You'll have many tasks in there, many, 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 many tasks. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Now I'll try Faye one more time here. I have no idea what's happened to my phone. It's really, really bad. Okay. We'll try again.
Oh?
Yeah, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. I don't know what's wrong. When you're away from home, you want to turn off your Wi-Fi. And when you're at home, you got to be on Wi-Fi because then your phone won't work, I guess. And I know that Grace, my show producer, was trying to text me a link because I was going to do the podcast from my phone, because when I locked the keys in my car after getting my cars from out of jail, oh, that was a fiasco. It's silly how they charge the fees here in California.
Oh, they charge a lot here too for the impound lot.
Well, it's $269 for them to impound it. To tow it. And it's $81 that they have to pay the state. The state of California gets $81. And I have no idea where they get the funding. It's called a lock charge or whatever it is. But the state of California gets that for them to tow on their highways. So the state's charging you. And then it's $73 storage for a black piece of asphalt. And then I had to pay the police $173 for the officers to get involved. Police are no longer free, by the way. I don't know if people know that the cities now, in fact, the police station where I lived, they were closed because they're 30 people short. 30 people short working. So they can't even open the police station. I said, well, who's protecting our city? Yeah. Well, we're only chasing the big important crimes. Well, I said, my crime is important, but, they didn't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. They say, well, it's your tough luck. I said, I'm 74 years old. I expect some respect. I respect you as an officer. Oh, the police, and I hate to tell the police are bad because you know it firsthand. I know you're going through Eastern Kentucky University or college, where the colleges that your son has gotten hassled by, and you have the Richmond Police Department hassling you, which is stupid. And then we have one of our other listeners, Natalie, in West Hollywood. The West Hollywood police are hassling. And now the police is now charging any service you're going to do with them, you got to pay. It isn't free anymore. I said, well, where are my taxes going to? I'm spending $3 in gasoline tax, and sales tax is like $1 every 10. For every dollar see, what is it? It's 10% sales tax. And then on top of that, you pay your taxes to the government that's supposed to provide you services, and they don't. And not only does CPS get the $80 billion a year, but they get they double dip.
Bonuses
they get
and awards.
I'm sorry, what?
They get bonuses and rewards on top of that.
Oh yeah, and they also get money for all the special fees for special need kids and for foster care and blah blah blah. It goes on and on and on. And you're paying an arm and a leg today. I mean, it's just, granted, now you can get a job at McDonald's for $20 an hour starting pay. That's not in all states, by the way. But you got to pay $8 for a burger. It's ridiculous.
It costed me $800 to get my car out of the impound lot.
Oh no! Oh, how many days was it stored there?
It was in there for roughly, I think, 7 days total, because
that's where a lot of
your time when it happened.
Yeah.
At the time when it happened, I was going through my CPS case.
Oh, I know. They don't care. They don't. They're greedy. People in this world are greedy. They're making money, gobs of money. Somehow our country's turned into the poor and the rich. We're no longer a middle class. A middle class was you got a decent salary, enough to pay for your bills, and you weren't, gaudy or rich and thing. But now it's become either the rich or the poor.
Right.
And it's hard to live on $30,000 a year.
We're living on less than that.
I know you do. I'm just saying that's your Social Security. But here in California, when you're spending, $1 a pound for bananas, $6 a gallon for milk, $7 a gallon for orange juice, your meats are $10 and $15 a pound. Hamburgers up, chicken. The only deal I found is chicken. You can still buy chicken where you buy one, get the other one free. So if you spend $8, the other one is free. That means you got 2 packages of 24 chicken for $4 each. So,
Well, that's a good deal. We don't have no deals like that down here on chicken. I wish we did.
Yeah, I know. I know the system.
It's ridiculous everywhere. It's ridiculous everywhere.
Yeah,
and it's worse in bigger states. But I tell you, the prices of food is bad everywhere. People are literally going without. I mean, especially in the poorer states. In the smaller states, people are starving.
Well, it's like me. The other day you were telling me I need to rinse my rice. I got that rice from the church. So it's probably been sitting stored for how long, but it had these little black speckles in it.
Uh-huh.
And I can't tell if they're bugs on it. I tried to pick up one and squish it, but didn't squish. So I don't know if it's the husk of rice or what, but next time I'll wash the rice thoroughly.
Yeah.
Because the stuff floated to the surface and I could have poured it off the rice and then cooked the rice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I always suggest rinsing your rice anyway. I've always done that before I've cooked rice. I do that when I cook vegetables or fruit. I always wash it first.
I agree about the vegetables, fruits. What about your noodles for spaghetti?
Noodles for spaghetti?
Yeah, do you wash your spaghetti noodles?
No, I just put them in the water and boil them out of the package.
Right. Well, that's okay. I did not know if you have to rinse those too. So.
No, you don't. You just boil them out of the package.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to find out I'd asked Faye, and she hasn't answered me. Let me text her and see if my phone has not worked. She tried to link me in via the phone.
You mean Danielle?
Oh, Danielle has texted me again today. But she's still, here she has another one. Here she says, my tablet ain't working. It's brand new. I just got it, but it ain't loading up. It's just blank. I got to take it back to the store. Okay,
Oh, okay.
maybe she doesn't want to say what really happened to it. So
Yeah. Well, that's okay. As long as she can, get something that works and it works for her, that's all that matters.
yeah, I just hope that she says she's okay. So
Yeah, yeah. I finally heard from her last night, and
mm-hmm.
she told me that she was at a friend's house, so I think she's fine.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think one thing that all you listeners out there, and we have Christina, um, who said congratulations to Rosemary. Rosemary is now getting her children back, and she's getting her plan taken care of. And she's been a long time listener. I forgot what city or state she's from, but
Sorry.
Christina. So we have our people, Rosemary and Christina, in the room, and it's nice to have them. I'm looking for questions, and uh, we don't have much more chance because I got to end the show. I'm trying to ask if there's a show at 11:30 because you only can, with Vincent's license, you can only do one show at a time. So the show can only be on one show at a time.
Yeah.
But I want all you people out there to help me out by, as I explained about the rules, because all of you think that court appointed, not all of you, but some of you think that a court appointed attorney will help you. They won't. They'll waste your time. It will be, they have a caseload of 30 or more clients. They don't speak to you unless at the time of the hearing, and they won't fight for you. So don't waste your time with a court appointed attorney. You need to get a real attorney, and you can find one. I used the example of Georgia. Find in Athens, which is a small city in Georgia, and Atlanta, which is the next biggest city. So find in Athens and Atlanta, Georgia, a pro bono, which means for free, family dependency attorney. Family dependency attorney. Family dependency attorney. And you should get a list of names. And from that list of names, you want to pick 10. And you want to call all 10 of them to see if they are still in business, that they do pro bono work, and they have attorneys that have fought in family dependency against CPS. And further, you can ask them if they've done civil lawsuits against CPS, because that's a good bonus, because most lawyers will not do civil lawsuits against CPS. Why? Because CPS is corrupt. You're going against $80 billion machine, and they got the toppest attorneys around. And the judge is corrupt. So, this is the year of the vote. Don't forget in November, you're going to vote for a president and all the other officials, but don't forget to vote for the judges. They're important, and make sure you pick a judge that at least, is a family dependency judge. I mean, someone that knows about family, about dependencies, and about reunification and how to protect the children and so forth. So that's important there. But going back to getting that attorney, if you do that, you will see the list. You talk to them all. And then what I want you to do is pick 4 from that list of 10. And I want to add Mr. Davis at 888-888-6582. Call him. He'll do for 30 minutes, $60, and he'll talk to you. He'll do a consultation there for 30 minutes for $60. At least he'll help you navigate and tell you how to fight CPS. And if you like him and you got the fun, he can be retained too. He does work out of state. He works in Northern California. He's in Southern California. The big expense is when he's out of his area, he needs accommodations and a car rental and transportation by airfare to wherever you're at. As far as the rest of the case, that's dependency on how hard the case and how long it's been going on. So, I want you all to find an attorney because you will have to fight them. I mean, I keep telling people you're like Alice in Wonderland. You're going to hit a lot of You fall in that rabbit hole. You're in a lot of rooms going nowhere. A lot of people saying stupid things like "off with your head," but CPS is corrupt, and it's a spider weaving a web and pulling you in. They're not your friend. They lie. They cheat. They wear pink T-shirts that says "professional kidnappers," and on the back they say "Where are your children?" and they advertise for black children for sale. I mean, I could go on. There's a lot of examples. There's recently a social worker being investigated for fraud and for embezzling money. But uh, right now CPS isn't important to Congress. Congress could care less about CPS. Right now, it's all about the presidency. Congress is more interested about the presidency. They can care less about the borders. They can care less about the wars we're fighting, helping out Israel or helping out Ukraine. Congress isn't interested in that. They're strictly interested on the elections. Who's going to be our next leader? Because they have special interests. I hate to say it, Congress are not your middle class people. They're not the Daniel Boones or Abraham Lincolns you used to serve in Congress. They're wealthy men and women that don't have to worry about where they're going to next food on the table. So anyway, get that attorney. You do that, and also get that notebook. And you need to get subject tabs with the notebook because you need to write down the incidents. So what you do is you have a section called incidents, and on the notebook you write down the date and the time the incident happened, the people that talked to the incident, you list them too, and then you list what the incident was about, and then you write the outcome. And if you don't know the outcome, you can fill that in later because it may take 6 months. Anyway, you're going to be in CPS for at least a year. At least a year. It's not a short 48 days as they tell you it's going to be. So, and especially if it's allegations that are far from the truth and they're just common lay people trying to do revenge because they don't like the looks of your yard or your dog barks too much or they got bushes growing over their yard and they don't like you as a person. They were going to call in and make allegations that are not true. So fill out that paper because you need it 6 months or later to work it in there. And lastly, I talked about rule number 3 is that you do not open the door to strangers. And I want you all to think about the gentleman named Roger, the black man from Florida, the veteran, the guy who served in the Air Force. He opened his door and he's point blank shot 5 times, dead on the spot. That's how bad the sheriff's department knows not how to handle domestic violence or opening doors or anything else. So don't open the door. Don't talk to social workers. Go through for the police thing. They need a court order. They need a warrant, and it's got to be filled out correctly with the name and the children, what the accusations are, what date they have to investigate, what the address is, where they're going to investigate, and what they're going to do. Take away your children, talk to you, enter your home, search your home, or whatever. But that has to be a warrant. Now, they can enter your home if a crime is in place going on. For instance, if someone's shooting somebody or you're smashing a child against the wall, they have them be quiet. They're going to come in the home. And the other part is the medical trafficking. Be careful when you take your children to the hospital or when you're going to have a baby at the hospital. There has been reports of people saying that the social worker with the police will march in and take the child who's freshly born from the mother. Or your parents and your child's very sick, you come in and you want to get your child feeling better, and the doctor may say, well, it may need this, it may need that, and you say, can it wait to see my pediatrician, or can I get another opinion? Instead, they contact the social workers that work there and say, you need to pick up these children. It is bad. Those are my 3 rules. You got to listen to them. You got to also, if you are an Native Indian child, you need to make sure that you're registered. It could be registered with one of the 547 federal recognized tribes because the children will be placed in the custody of Indian families, and they're better suited to take care of your children, help you regain your unification. Not CPS. CPS will lie to you, will take revenge on you. They revenged on my daughter. They told her that you're going to get your name changed. You're going to divorce your parents and your family, and you're going to be adopted, and you're going to seal up your birth certificate. No child at 12 knows how to do all that. My daughter was coerced by the social worker. The social worker blatantly told both of us. So, as I say to you, is that you have to keep on fighting. And I got at my end of my show, I got to leave. And so I want to thank you all for listening. I'll see you tonight at 7 o'clock. I want to thank Christina for your words. It says there, Rosemary, I'm so happy you got your children back. Thank you. And then who else we had here? We had Christina, Rosemary, and then Faye, who's called in and is very supportive and helps me out too. So thank you, Faye, and thank you all. God bless you. Keep fighting for your kids. I'll see you tonight. This is Bob Pace signing off.